Hello, loves. So today we are doing messages from your bloodline, and it is a collaboration with the amazing Colleen with Spiritualistic. So stay tuned, and we're going to check out the cards and get a little bit of background information about what it is that your ancestors are calling for you to be aware of with this reading. Hello, my loves. Welcome back. If you're new or returning, welcome to the family. I have missed you guys. I am honored to read this energy, bring these messages forth today. This is Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica the Kismet Chemist. You guys are rock stars. I want to do a huge shout out to all of my subscribers, whether you have just recently subscribed or not. It's the energy that you guys bring that makes all of these readings possible. So I wanted to do my introduction a little bit differently. We're still going to take a look at the cards and the energies and everything like that, but we're going to do that during the meditation. The reason for this is because in this reading, I'm doing a collaboration with the amazing Colleen with Spiritualistic, and we are tapping into the energy of ancestors. I have chosen to do the ancestors of your bloodline. Now, I know that this is kind of a controversial energy and a controversial topic to receive messages from. A lot of the people that I have come into contact with and come across along my spiritual journey, we have all, in our own way, and myself included, experienced some sort of trauma at the hands of someone within our bloodline, within our family bloodline. And at the same time, I've come across people who are adopted and don't know anything about their bloodlines. So because of this can be, this reading depends on how you choose to view it. The reason why I chose bloodlines is because I have experienced a lot of trauma from my family heritage, from the people that I grew up with, and the way that my family works. There's a lot of dirty family secrets that just keep getting swept under the rug. And I was the one who didn't sweep it under the rug. I didn't say, okay, I'm not going to talk about these things. I chose to talk about them. Because of that, I actually have a very good relationship with my ancestors. Some of us contract to come here in order to heal certain things out of our ancestry. And a lot of the times when we heal certain things out of our ancestry, we do this in a way that we have to acknowledge the pains and the anguishes that there are within the ancestors or the generational lines, the genealogy. And many of us experience those things ourselves as well. It's not always the easiest journey to do ancestry healing. But it does not mean that it is not seen, acknowledged, and really truly praised from the spiritual realm when we do these things. I know me in particular, I can tell you that on one side of my family, my lineage traces all the way back to Salem Village, which is now Danvers, Massachusetts. And Danvers was the original Salem Village where all of the witch trials occurred. It didn't actually occur in Salem, Massachusetts as it is now because that was Salem proper, and Salem Village turned into Danvers, Massachusetts. My family was a very firm proponent of the establishment of Salem Village, as well as the constable during that time, as well as I have family on both sides. I have family who did the accusations and promoted the hangings, as well as family who were hung. So in a big way, I carry both energies within my blood itself. These are things that I've learned along my own journey, and I share these with you because I'm very open about this side of my own ancestry and lineage, because we have to learn how to heal these things out, or not necessarily have to, but many of us choose to heal these things out. One of the ways in which I have healed this out of my family line is by embracing a study of witchcraft, embracing a study of the esoteric and the occult, and of embracing my gifts, because not many people in my family line after that time frame did, because there was so much fear wrapped around it in that family line that I am birthed from, that they essentially, many of them felt the need to choose religion, organized religion, or choose this path or that path. And a lot of it came down to using some form of addiction in order to cover up spiritual gifts. And because I walked down that path myself, I have experienced both sides of the coin. And I'm here to share the other side with the people in my life now, to start a new tradition, but also with the people in the world as I do my work here on my soul's journey. This is one of the reasons why I chose to get messages from our bloodline ancestry, because our ancestors of our bloodlines are not the same as the family that we grew up with. They are not the same as the people that we have been surrounded by within those bloodlines. And sometimes they can help us understand better than the people that are around us, because they are on the spiritual plane and they see more, experience more, and understand more than we are capable of within our human existence. Because of that, I wanted to do this intro in this way so that you guys understood a little bit more on a personal level what this reading is for and about, and why I chose ancestry bloodlines in particular. Without further ado, let's take a look at the cards. There are 4 piles. Each one has a card and a crystal, and you guys can feel free to choose from those. But I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras so you guys can check those out, and then we'll go into the meditation, and I will see you at your piles. Hello, loves. So we are continuing on, and I'm going to re-cleanse the space here. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here for this collaboration. One more time, thank you to Colleen from Spiritualistic for this collaboration, for being very patient with me as far as me getting back to my emails and, getting this situated. Sometimes you're meant to work with someone, but it just takes more time because life kind of hits you left, right, and center, which I say a lot, but, life has really hit me left, right, and center since about beginning of December. And I'm trying to really go with the flow. And now working the ancestral messages. Guys, I wanted to explain this plate because it's not going to be here for the entire reading. But this plate was something that I actually got as a gift from my aunt for Christmas. And this plate is something that my grandmother, and I've talked about my grandma on my channel before. My grandmother went and worked really hard and saved a lot of money so that she could buy gifts for her mother. And her mother's name was actually Hedwig, who is the also the namesake of Harry's snowy owl in the majority of the Harry Potter series. Hedwig dies in the 7th book. But Hedwig did not receive a lot of gifts throughout her life. And so my grandmother wanted to do something very thoughtful for her mother. So she worked really hard and saved her money really hard. And one of the items that she got was this plate. And each one of us grandchildren were offered pieces of the set of gifts that my great grandmother received from my grandmother. And this was what was offered to me. And one of the reasons why this specific piece was offered to me is because it had carried through for so long, and it was so deeply impactful for Hedwig that it almost carries a signature of her energy. So that is part of my familial line on my grandmother's side, is this plate and this energy. And so I have an ancestral altar in my house that I keep this on in honor of that family, because we have so few heirlooms from that family. And it's something that I'll be able to pass down to my children as well. And sometimes we don't understand or we don't realize that there are pieces and objects in this world that exist that our family treasured, pieces that our family treasured. And they're so deeply imbued with ancestral love and wisdom and knowingness that just interacting with them helps open up a communication with our ancestors. So I wanted to bring this plate in here to help you guys see how important something that seems so small, because it was bought at a garage sale from my grandmother back in I want to say it would have been in the 40s. 30s or 40s, yeah. Yeah, late 30s, early 40s is when this plate was purchased. And that was secondhand and used. And so if you think about the age of this one item alone and how much it is seen, but how much love is infused in it just from the act of her getting it, we can see that there are stories that our family lines have that we don't get to always understand or see, but we can interact with the energy of them. So with all that being said, I'm going to move this out. And actually, I'm going to keep it there because you can see the cards a little bit better while it's there, because we still have the sunlight. We have 4 piles. Each one has a different natural stone bracelet. So we have the first pile is maple spirit with generosity, and it has this specially made, and it's mookaite jasper with citrine. And then we have a standing stones with passage, and we have a amethyst and lapis lazuli bracelet. And then we have storm spirit with chaos. And we have a moss agate with clear quartz bracelet. And then finally, we have meandering pathway with flow. And we have Dalmatian jasper with a matte black onyx bracelet. Now, with all that being said, there also will be specific sounds. I'm going to be using a sound machine to play in the background as I'm doing each reading. Each of the sounds that I'm using in the sound machine actually has a correspondence to each of the piles. So there's a lot that is going into this reading that the ancestors really wanted to help you understand different ways of connecting to them. And so they wanted to use sound as one of those ways. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to put on some meditation music, let you guys get into the flow, into the energy of this reading and the messages, and allow yourselves to be open and willing to hear the messages that your ancestors of your bloodline have for you today. And guys, I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile one. So let's get the energy cleansed and cleared. All right, here we go. We got it nice and cleared. So we are tapping into the ancestors of your bloodline. And because this is bloodline ancestry, I am tapping into both the mother and the father side. So the cards on this side are the mother side. The cards over here are the father side. And in this center energy, which is what we're going to focus on first, is actually how both sides see you, view you, and how they kind of an illumination point for what they view of you. So you guys chose this Maple Spirit Generosity, and it's a card 23, as well as this handmade Mookaite Jasper and Citrine bracelet. Sorry guys, my brain just was like, nope, we're not gonna talk about this at all. Okay, so with this bracelet, the reason why I say it's handmade, I mean, obviously the reason why it's handmade is because I made it by hand. But the purpose behind it was Mookaite Jasper. One of the qualities of Mookaite Jasper is ancestral healing. So each crystal has a variety of different uses in the world. And with Mookaite Jasper, this is one of the uses. I set the intention for this bracelet as I created it for it to aid in energetic healing of ancestral patterns, karma, wounds, thoughts, emotions, things that were ready to be healed out of my ancestry through my own actions, reactions, and steps of healing. I included the citrine in it because a lot of the healing that I have been doing in my own personal life has been surrounding personal empowerment, self-empowerment, using one's voice, but understanding my gifts, utilizing my gifts, being confident with them, confidently sharing myself and what I have to offer with the world. And in doing so, I realized that a lot of the wounds that I had surrounding confidence in the spiritual community, in my spiritual calling, had to do with wounds stemming from my ancestors, from their unwillingness over the course of generations to fully embrace themselves and their gifts and step fully into the possibility and potentiality that my lines have. So you guys chose this bracelet that is all about healing ancestral patterns surrounding self-empowerment. That in and of itself speaks volumes. Now you also chose the Maple Spirit with Generosity in the card 23. 23 reduces to a 5. And this is about the 5 energy is equally the energy of the Hierophant card in tarot. So that's about, traditions, structure, foundational patterns, and belief systems. But it's the number 5 is also all about adventure and change and really adapting and adjusting. And blending these two together, if we think about blending the energy of the traditional structures of the Hierophant card, if you guys heard all that noise in the background, I'm going to try and edit as much of it out, but I had my cat ringing the doorbell and I've got Willow in here, so I figured it's just easier to leave the door open. I do have both Eliza and Cooper home with me, so they may pop in. I'm going to try and edit anything out if there's any kind of interference, but what I was saying with the number 5, when we blend the energy numerologically of the number 5 with the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, Major Arcana, the Hierophant, we actually get an energy of duality. We are experiencing polarity because we have traditional structures along with adventurous change. And traditional structures don't do well with adventurous change, and adventurous change does not necessarily get along well with traditional structures. What I get from this a lot And the energy that I pick up from this is that you're someone who sees the traditional structures of your family, and you have kind of branched off. It's like growing up in a Christian household and becoming a Buddhist monk. It's like there was polarity to it, an extreme shift to it. You could have grown up in a family of atheists and you may now be very devoutly Catholic, something of that nature. Like that is the extreme shift that I pick up from it. But with this maple spirit and generosity, it's a call to the energy of the maple tree. And generosity, this is something that, your ancestors, when I first started tapping into this energy, sorry guys, Cooper was coughing and kind of distracted me. When I first started tapping into the energy of the maple spirit, instead of the word generosity, I kept getting the word gratitude. And it's like they want you to be aware of how grateful they are for you and what you have done for yourself, because you have been so generous with the healing that you've done. It's for you, pile one, with the bracelet and the maple spirit generosity. A lot of the energy that comes off of these two in combination with each other has everything to do with you being very generous in your healing. You could have stopped doing any kind of ancestral shadow work. You could have stopped digging into certain patterns and behaviors, mindsets, systems of belief. Once you found your place and your role and your purpose and what you believe, you could have stopped. That's the energy that I get, is you really could have stopped everything and moved forward from where you were. But it's like you made this choice to heal certain things from your family line within your conscious mind. It doesn't feel like it was something that was contracted. It feels like something that you genuinely considered on a conscious level, like, okay, no, I've healed everything that I feel like I was here to heal on a soul level. But I also feel as though this pattern is something that I am able to change through my actions, reactions, through the ways that I believe, through the ways in which I interact with my family, whether you have a family of your own or whether this is your extended family. It's going to be different for everyone. And you could have stopped, but you chose to work on these patterns. It's like you made a conscious decision to stay connected to your family line and to interact with them. Now that is not for everyone. I just literally got up, but I'm not connected to my family line. I got a huge energy of that. So I want to let you guys know that this is a very specific energy that I feel. And I'm not going to tell you that you're in the wrong pile. I'm going to tell you that there is a smaller amount of underlying energy where there were conscious decisions made to heal certain things that were patterns, but you may not have realized that these things were patterns. It's like someone who has trigger warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, someone who has an eating disorder and recognizes that they have an eating disorder and chooses to heal this disorder, heal this behavior pattern, this mindset, however it manifests, whether it is binging and purging, overeating, anorexia, whatever it is, you make that conscious choice to heal that pattern, that behavior, that mindset, not knowing that that is actually an ancestral pattern. That's an ancestral inherited issue or concern, and you healing it is actually healing generations. You actually engaging with that energy, with that patterning, is something that sourced from a calling from your ancestors for help. It may have been something that you didn't necessarily do for a lot of your life, is what I'm getting, and it doesn't necessarily have to fall under the guise of exactly what I said, but it could be something in that area, you know, addictions, mental health issues, even just a mindset, like a poverty consciousness. Something in that area is something that you did not, it's like you didn't grow up with it. You suddenly like kind of fell into it. And you said, okay, I'm going to heal this. Like in a conscious level, I'm going to heal this. And it was something that was easy to heal. It's because it was never yours to carry in the first place. But something within you just kind of bravely took that up, took that energy and that healing pattern up. And that's something that they're really acknowledging here, because they're showing me the generosity of the maple tree as like, okay, it's not just about, it's a tree that gives generously of so much of it, down to the sap that makes maple syrup. It is so incredibly generous of a tree. And even the maple tree itself in Celtic, or well, zodiacal, wow. In zodiacal association, it's associated with both Virgo and Libra. Two things that are about balance, harmony, equality, about self-care, practical applications of healing of the self and sharing of that, you know, really getting into the mentality of certain things and healing those things. We've got the 6th and the 7th houses, and it's about our how we connect with others on a one-to-one or, you know, one-to-few basis, and how we give so generously of ourselves and how we receive generous gifts from others. So you may be a Virgo or a Libra moon in particular, as I'm picking up. You also may be born between April 11th to April 20th or October 14th to October 23rd. And those are the Druid associated dates for the maple tree itself. But a maple is a tree of offering. It gives of its sap to make syrup and benefit others. And it's something that allows for others to come and tap into it by really tapping into the maple tree in order to get that sap. So if you think about it in this way, it's like a maple tree's tears alone are like nectar of the gods. It's the sweetness of life. So even your tears, even when you allow yourself to sit down and have this emotional release, this emotional just moment in your life where you let the tears flow from your eyes, those tears are like the nectar of the gods for your family lines, both maternal and paternal, because it's healing. Many times in genealogy and ancestry, what we don't realize is when we're looking at our families, much of the things that we're here to heal are just our expressions. We're just here to allow ourselves to express certain things. So let's take a look at this card and what your ancestors view from you. Sorry, because I'm looking at my computer screen and I had a pop-up here and I want to make sure that I didn't lose my filming. Nope, I'm good. All right. So, this is so beautiful. We have the 4 of Wands, and look at this. Look, it's like we're all radiant together, but look, you are the one that pierces the sun. You have pierced the light with your uniqueness, with your third eye. It's like your third eye, the way that you embrace yourself and embrace your gifts is literally just celebratory for them. They see you as the harmony and the union of all and of each other. It's like these two family lines have been trying to come together into a balanced harmony and for quite some time. You could be an only child. You don't have to be for that to apply. You could either be an only child or, and this is very, very specific. I know it doesn't sound like it, but you could either be an only child or you could be the absolute eldest or the absolute youngest in a family line with many children falling in that middle child energy. When I see this, it's almost as though there's 4 children. So you would be, there's more between the oldest and the youngest than the average, like 3 children. So, it's kind of like, I just heard 15. So you could be the eldest or the youngest in a family of 15 kids. I actually know somebody who is the youngest in 15 kids. Not that he watches this channel, but he works with my husband. But that's actually how I saw it, was they showed me him. But this is what I mean. And because of that, there's something that's incredibly unique about your placement within your family. It's kind of like if you're the youngest out of many, it's like your parents started having kids 20 years before they had you. So the age gap between you and your oldest sibling is 20 years. And that could seem like a huge age gap, but to you and your family, it's just kind of, it is what it is. It's a normal thing because that's what you've always known. But they see you as this bright, shining star. They see you as the one to rise the highest, go the furthest, and shine the brightest. And it's very beautiful because we have this paired with the maple spirit and generosity. And maples are associated with honor, with fertility, with tolerance, with happiness, with love, with joy. Even just the season of autumn, because of the color change and the way that maple syrup is made, it's made in the fall or the autumn season. And it actually is used as a repellent for, in maple lore, it's used as a repellent for demons and evil spirits. It's used to protect a home and a placement. It's very, very deeply rooted in the Celtic mythology. And it symbolizes balance and practicality, promise, longevity, generosity, intelligence. There's so much to just this maple spirit in and of itself. But when you combine it with the 4 of Wands, it's like you just generously give of this joyful energy that you carry. And with you having chosen this one with the citrine in here, it really does talk about that self-empowerment. When you shine yourself out the brightest, you shine forth in this beautiful energy, and your ancestors are really, truly acknowledging that. So we're going to take a look at the mother line. These are just kind of messages from the mother line. And then this is something that you have inherited, and this is something that you are healing. This is something you've inherited from the father line and something you are healing. So let's see the inheritances first. So from the mother line, you have inherited temperance. Wow. That's so powerful. But I love this particular temperance because it has this allusion to the yin yang. And with that, it talks about the masculine and the feminine, but we've got yellow and blue here. So it talks about the utilization of your throat chakra with your solar plexus chakra. And in order to utilize those, and you have to blend them together. And how do you blend them together? You move it all through the heart. The heart is nothing more or less than a blend of the throat chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And you see that with coloring. The heart chakra is green, the throat chakra is blue, the solar plexus is yellow. And when they're blended together or blending together in this way with the yin yang, you're blending your masculine and your feminine energies together to create heart-centered, self-empowered speech in some way, shape, or form. The temperance card is all about alchemy and magic. It's about blending things together, being very patient with it, and knowing that the work that you're doing is that of the highest level. So this is really you choosing to blend everything together, the masculine and the feminine. So what you've inherited from your mother's line is this natural alchemization ability. So you may find that you can alchemize things quite quickly. by speaking out about things. You may see yourself as sort of getting like a revolutionary energy or a freedom fighter energy. So that could be very strong and prominent in your life, but that's something that you've inherited from your mother's line. So let's take a look at from your father's line. You have the Eight of Swords. And here's the best part about what this specific Eight of Swords is saying. You have inherited the ability to see where others are trapped by their own mind and to show them how unique they are, because this particular Eight of Swords has a swan trapped with the swords and brambles and branches, but it's got this beautiful hummingbird up here, and you're the hummingbird. So what you've inherited from your father's line is this ability to rise up and to show people how they have been trapped by their own mentality, but you can also see where your families and people that you have grown up with have been trapped by their own mentalities, and you see it in such a unique and beautiful perspective and unique and beautiful way that you are able to show them their own ability to defy odds, defy gravity, to rise above and fly above it. You know, a hummingbird, they are the most unique birds. And to me, they're so beautiful and so brilliant of a creature, because they shouldn't be able to fly, but they do. They shouldn't be able to move as fast as they do, but they do. And they live just like bumblebees. They live off of the nectar of flowers, and they love sugar water. They love the sweetness. Just like what a maple tree produces, that sweetness, they live off of that sweetness, and that's how they operate. That's how they function. That's how they feed themselves. So you guys are like the hummingbird. You shouldn't be able to do the things that you do, but you can. And why? Because you have this beautiful inherited gift of being able to see the pitfalls, the downturns, the ways in which we trap ourselves. And because you're this beautiful amalgam of both of these sides, you actually are able to blend these two inherited patterns and abilities together. And you can say, I can see from this perspective, this unique way of defying the odds, and I can blend together this awareness that I have in order to share with others, to show them their own personal power. And that's really beautiful. So let's see what you guys are healing. So this is what you're healing from the mother line. Ooh, buddy. We have the Judgment card. So on the mother's line in particular, the mother's line energy is incredibly powerful, soul level healing and inherited gifts. So this is something where you're definitely more contracted firmly into this mother line for deeper healing. And this may be something that is more underlying, where it's more like you recognize the father line more of the places that need to be healed, especially with this Eight of Swords. You can see on the father's line more clearly what needs to be healed. But the reason why for the mother line, it's because with the mother line, what you're healing is listening to the calling of your soul and following that. And the only way that you can actually heal that in the mother's line is you can't force anybody to do that. What you are being called to do here is actually listen to the calling of your own soul and follow that calling. And in doing so, you actually help heal that mother line. It's simply about you embodying the energy of hearing the judgment call for yourself and allowing yourself to rise up out of the ways of old and into a new being, a new form. And that's why your ancestors are saying here, you are so incredibly generous. You're so incredibly loving. You're so incredibly giving. And you are literally the one who has pierced the highest level of the sun, the sky, the light, the truth, the unconditional nature of love and this life and spirit and everything. You're the one who has pierced that, has brought it back down to earth, and has shared it with others. And you are so respected. You are so loved because of all of the ways in which you are simply yourself. Because by being that, you're literally following the calling of your soul. And that's a really, really beautiful thing to heal out of the mother line without it being something that becomes overcomplicated. It doesn't mean that it's not, please don't get me wrong. I just got to like, what do you mean not complicated? What I mean by not complicated is that it doesn't mean it isn't a challenge. It doesn't mean that it isn't hard, that it hasn't been a long journey. It means that at the end of the day, it's not about you forging the connections between your family members. It's not about you teaching your family members. It is about you embracing yourself. And you do this so naturally, so easily, even if you think that you don't, you really do. And your ancestors are like, you don't see yourself nearly as clearly as we see you. You are so beautiful, so brilliant, so brave, so handsome, so wise, so insightful. And you dance to the beat of your own drum, and you do this so naturally that this is something that they are so incredibly honored to witness, to be beside you, and to work with you during, because all that it took to heal such a huge blockage within your family line on your mother's side was you choosing you. It was choosing yourself, pile one. And you've done that time and time and time again, and you're speaking about it in such beautiful ways in your life that you have this angelic aura to you. Very ethereal, very profound energy. All right, let's see from your father's side what you are healing. We have the Page of Pentacles. I love this as far as what you're healing, because what you're healing is that poverty consciousness that I talked about. That feeling that you aren't capable of creating the life that you desire, or you're not capable of seeing the seeds planted come to fruition. A lot of this has to do with healing of the divine masculine line, divine masculine energy within. It's learning that you don't have to go and do everything for yourself, but learning that it's okay and it's safe for you to receive in this lifetime. Your father line, your paternal line, was not aware of how this worked. 100%. They are very much this energy of, I have to do it all myself or else. And you're in the energy of it. You may see it as naive, not you, pile one, but like the world may see you as naive. Your family may see you as naive, but what you see is possibility, potentiality, truth, beauty, harmony. It's that hummingbird energy. You embody the hummingbird energy. And as you do that, you actually are healing this sense of naivety, but also this sense of adventurousness out in the world. And I am caught right here on this card by the two faces that are in this rock, and the fact that there's a heart by them. And this, oh no, that's three faces. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Nature spirits. You guys also may be called to Mother Nature a lot. Trees and forest lands. And that may be something that's different too. That was just like a completely separate side note. But originally it looked like two faces on this moss-covered boulder and a heart between them. And it's this love of staying stagnant almost that you're breaking free of. It's the 5 energy, that adventurous change energy. That's something that is being highlighted here that you're healing with this Page of Pentacles, is you're healing the energy of traditional structures by realizing when there is stagnancy and saying, okay, I don't want stagnancy in my life or in my endeavors, so I'm choosing to allow myself to take a new path. Excuse me. So let's see the message from your mother's side. We have Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. I love that because that's very much the temperance energy here that you inherited. And then we have 17 with shamanic healer. Oh my God. Yes. Cleansing and attunement. Yeah. It's that natural alchemy energy that you have. I love that. So beautiful. And then going forward. Okay. So with Broken Arrow and going forward, especially, what your mother's line is letting you know is right now, there is a divine kind of cleansing and attunement occurring for you. This is going to help you move forward in a way in which you don't have to try and shoot forward like an arrow, but you can take your time and kind of meander in this journey for a while. It's like this energy of them letting you know you have been so laser focused on go, 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 do this, do this. So they're acknowledging that imbalanced divine masculine energy. And so your divine or your maternal line, divine feminine, your maternal line is coming in and saying, with the healing that you've done in embracing yourself, moving forward from here, we want you to know that it's okay to embrace peace. It's okay to embrace calm. It's okay to embrace clarity because you've learned to really listen to yourself and take care of what you needed. The full moon in Cancer may have been incredibly powerful and transformative for you in the sense of realizing the fact that slowing down actually brings in more opportunities for you. And they want to acknowledge a lot of that as well. So let's see the messages from your father's line. Yes, Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. See, like I said, nature spirits, mother nature, earth spirits, energy. So your father's line is letting you know that you are one of those earth guardians. You really are deeply connected to the earth. And then we have 16 with achievement, completion, and reward. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, this is absolutely incredible. And then we have happiness. This is literally like that Four of Wands energy. Okay, so there's peace, grounding, reward, happiness, like new opportunities. You choosing yourself really did send out a huge signal and energy to the universe of exactly where you're moving forward to. And with this, stay rooted and grounded. And you guys literally chose the maple spirit. You chose a tree. A tree. I use trees as my meditation for grounding all the time. I always picture roots coming from my feet into the ground. Like when I need to do a quick 5-minute grounding anything, that's what I do. I literally close my eyes and picture the roots going down as deep as possible and then spreading out as wide as possible. And it helps so much. So this is literally you're coming into the fullness of your earth energy. So that again, there's a lot of Virgo energy, 6th house energy. You could have your sun in the 6th house, your moon in the 6th house. Like I said, with Virgo and Libra energy, what I'm getting mostly is, the moon energy. I literally was seeing the moon in my third eye and I was like, what is that called? Sorry, guys. My brain. But you guys have that moon energy that's so deeply rooted and grounded. And even though Libra is an air energy, that's why you could have Libra in your 6th house. Let's see. If you have Libra in your 6th house, you have Scorpio in your 7th, that would make you a Taurus rising. See how I do that? I know the opposite sign, so I go to the next angle that it would be and then use its opposite. Yeah, you could be a Taurus rising or an Aries rising as well. That's an energy that's here. Taurus energy is really strong, but I did pick up, oh gosh, I forgot to mention that. I did pick up Taurus energy prior to sitting down and filming this because before I did that, I started cleaning my house. I cleaned my kitchen. I vacuumed my office. I moved some furniture around in my office. I cleaned up my living room, my family room, my bedroom. And that's always like when I'm in Taurian energy, I'm like, ooh, it's time to clean. So you guys are really like, your mother and father line both want you to know that like you've done so much. They seriously, like, they love you so much. Okay, so we're just gonna get some final messages. Oh my gosh, I love it. Southwest, we have, oh my gosh, guys, we have earth and air energy here. And it says, as the night's mystery opens life to awakening awareness, wisdom brings mental clarity to true purpose. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going to put this here. Yes. And that's that green and yellow energy. So as you speak more out, you really come into this, but you're gaining a lot more clarity on your purpose here. And your purpose literally is to embrace yourself and see the ways in which you're meant to just move beyond what was there. And your ancestors are really acknowledging how much you've done for that. Coming to terms with the truth. Yes, see, you've really stepped into the fullness and the truth of who you are and of your family line, but also of just your soul in this life. We've got claircognizance here. So I'm going to move this and put this here. And then claircognizance. So you may have claircognizance, or this could be awakening within you as well. And then it's, I just like got hit with this huge emotional wave, because you guys remember that message in the beginning where you made a conscious choice to heal more than just you and your healing. You chose to heal more. They want you to know that you don't have to do that anymore. You are literally responsible only for your own healing from now on. Take peace knowing that right now you're being cleansed and attuned, so that moving forward, you don't feel like you need to keep carrying anything from them. You don't need to keep trying to save them from this Eight of Swords energy or showing them how to alchemize. You have done everything you need to do, and you're responsible now and moving forward only for your own healing. I love, love, love that. Love that. Oh, I love that here. I want to get one more. Can I get one more? Can you get one more for pile one? One more message for pile one. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh, pile one, I want to cry. It says, you are the rainbow in stormy skies. You simply cannot see it for yourself because you are one with the rainbow. You are the rainbow. You are all of these things. You are the heart and the throat and the soul or sacral, solar plexus and sacral plexus. You are all of these things. You are all of these things, and you are worthy. And the more that you take care of yourself and really nurture yourself, the more opportunities are going to come into your life. You are the rainbow. You literally shine so brightly. They love you so much. Your ancestors love you so much on both sides, and you've done so much for them. Pile one, please, please, if you chose this pile, if you intuitively selected pile one, intuitively you found yourself here for this message, please take time today to look at yourself, look in the mirror and say, I am worthy, I am loved, I am the rainbow, and I have done so much healing. I only need to heal myself now. I am the rainbow. I'm going to shine bright. I have completed a huge, huge piece of my journey. Pile one, you have really done so much. And this is absolutely incredible. All right, pile one, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, spirit, and especially thank you to your ancestors, both the maternal and the paternal bloodlines. Thank you so much for being here, for being present, for bringing these messages forth, for flowing them into the collective. Guys, please make sure you guys check out Colleen with Spiritualistic and her portion of this collaboration with your ancestors of the stars. She's absolutely incredible. She's so insightful, and I am so honored to do this reading with her. Please make sure you check her out. The link is in the description box below, as well as the comment section below. Go subscribe to her channel, show her all the love, all the support. And yeah, absolutely, absolutely check hers out. There are links to my other channel and links down in the description box for my other stuff. If you guys are inclined to go check those out, please feel free. But if this resonated, a great way for an equal energy exchange would be to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, comment in the comment section below. Let other pile ones know that you guys are not the only ones going through this journey or having gone through this journey, and how incredible you guys all are. And you guys know I love interacting with you guys in the comments. So by all means, kick that in there. All right, pile one, I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile two. So we're going to go ahead and cleanse this space. Cleanse your cards up again. I did cleanse them in between, but I wanted to make sure. I do have some dragon's blood incense going, and as you guys can see, I've got it on my backflow cone. But it is pretty prominent, so you guys are likely going to be getting some smoke up in the camera, but I'm just going to kind of let it be. Because with your pile in particular, there's a lot of cleansing smoke, and the smoke is actually shifting directions from what it has been for any of the other piles. And that is really quite unique here. Very unexpectedly unique, in fact. All right, so see if I can get it resituated to the cards. There we go. So you guys chose the Standing Stone Passage, as well as the second bracelet that is lapis lazuli and amethyst, and the card number 40. And as I was shuffling, the happiness card really, really wanted to come out. And first of all, you may have been drawn to another pile. Doesn't have to be, but there is a little bit of an energy here of crossover. Not a lot. I'm not picking that up a lot. But I did want to mention that just in case. But with this happiness card, with the dolphins on it, what I actually get from it, and it's kind of like this clear-cut message, is about soul family. And we're getting messages from your ancestral bloodline. What I'm getting from both the happiness as well as the Standing Stones Passage card, the lapis lazuli and amethyst bracelet, this is about a psychic linked soul family. So you may have felt a lot on this journey as though your gifts kind of set you apart from your biological family in some way, shape, or form. And it has taken, when we go on that journey, it takes time to rebuild the foundations of who we are and feel really powerful and strong in who we are and how we are. The first thing that I get is that you guys have been on a journey of self-love. And, there's a lot of people that can identify with learning how to love themselves, but this is different. This energy is significantly different. When I say that you've been on a journey of self-love, I don't mean just in this lifetime. I mean, like in totality, your soul is learning how to love itself. It's learning how to trust itself. It's learning how to see itself. You may have felt not just growing up, but into adulthood as though you are different than who you grew up with. It's like that energy of, how did I get here? How am I the way that I am? Because I don't look like the people I grew up with. I don't
act that way. I don't think that way. I don't believe the same things. I have gifts and they don't. You know, there's a lot of that energy, especially with the standing stone and the passage card, or the standing stones and passage card. With that energy, there's a lot of energy of star seeds. And there's also a kind of, I'm hearing hearkening back to Stonehenge, and perhaps you guys feel drawn to Syrian, Pleiadian, and Arcturian star seeds. If that's the case, please take this as your confirmation that those are places that your soul recognizes. And definitely make sure that you guys check out Colleen's part of this collaboration over on Spiritualistic, because she is receiving messages from your starseed ancestors. This card in particular, with the cosmos on the card plus the standing stones, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys work with ley line energies, working with the earth grid energies. I'm getting a lot of grid worker energy, a lot of that. But for a big portion of your life, you may have felt as though you were going solo. And your ancestors, both the maternal and the paternal line, want to acknowledge that this has been a journey in which you've had to really walk alone. And that's an energy that's been coming through a lot on my channel. This solo journeying, this solo act, this like amongst but alone energy. And recognizing that it's okay to feel that way, that it doesn't make you weird, and it doesn't mean that you are, I'm hearing, it doesn't mean that you're depressed. It doesn't mean that you're awful. It doesn't mean that you are, you know, mentally ill or anything like that. It means that you recognize that there is a part of you that is calling out for love, for family, for unity, for union. And you may not even resonate with things like soulmates or twin flames, but there's a part of you that knows that there are other people that are out there in the world that are like you, that are meant to be in your life. But going through things on a solo level, it can make you feel like it isn't that way. And if you guys can hear in the background, it's the sound of a summer night on my sound machine. That's a sound very significant to you. And I actually, like, when I mentioned it in the intro with the sounds, I didn't intend to, I guess I intended to make sure that there was a sound to it, but when I sat down to film right away, that did not come through again. So it came through in the intro and then it stopped. And so I actually think that it came through specifically for this pile, because there is something with the sound of a summer's night that is significant to you. It's almost like the sound of crickets or cicadas, the sound of cicadas, or you know, like just the birds of the night. Those kind of sounds are actually quite resonant with your heart and your soul. And there's an energy of understanding where you've come from and where you are heading. But there's just this very strong acknowledgement that it could have felt, and for a very long time is what I'm getting, as though you've been so alone. You know, dolphins on this happiness card, dolphins move in pods. They travel in pods, and they have this altruistic nature because they have pod mentality. They worry about each other, they care about each other, and they flow and harmonize with each other all the time when they are moving. And this is really about how your bloodline ancestors see you and them, not necessarily the people that you grew up with. That's a very, very strong energy with you, Pile 2. Like, I want to wrap my arms around you and let you know that you're not actually alone. even though there is like there's a beauty to being on a solo journey. There is a true beauty to it. You're not actually fully alone. Like you have ancestors all around you, and they really do truly love you. And I have this like, I want to cry right now for you guys, because it feels like you've been really, really lonely and really isolated and alone. And that's a really hard place to be, like when you feel so different from everyone that you've ever known. You just don't know whether you'll ever find your place. You will find your place. You are meant to find your place. So we're gonna go over what these cards are once I get my act together. Okay, so this is how your bloodline views you, both paternal and maternal. These are messages from your maternal side. These are messages from your paternal side. These two cards here are what you have inherited from each bloodline, and these are what you are healing from each bloodline. And if you guys give me just one moment, I will be right back. Okay, pile two, I am back. I had my pups outside and I had to let them in. So I did want to mention that when I paused my filming to go outside, it was at 11 minutes and 11 seconds. And that is quite auspicious for you guys, because sorry, I needed to finish swallowing coffee, guys. The reason why that is so auspicious for you is because that energy tells me so much about you having that new beginning, you guys having that family, that soul family, those soul connections coming in, those connections from the heart coming in to your life. It tells me that they are rapidly approaching, entering your life and becoming a part of who you are moving forward. And that isn't in a codependent way. I just got this like wave of like, I don't want someone to become who I am. It's not about that. It's about, you know, when I met Ember Moon Tarot, when she came into my life on a personal level, it was like a part of my soul just recognized her automatically, as though she and I had always been a part of each other's lives. We just never knew it at the time. And so much of what we have experienced solo, so much of what we have experienced, we've done it on our own, but it has been incredibly reminiscent of each other's experiences. And it brought us closer together. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because there is that energy here of others like you who know your experiences in a different way, but are so similar that it helps you understand that you're not alone. It helps you see how you are blended with others in such a beautiful way, and a beautiful like soul level spiritual way. It's quite amazing. So let's take a look at the other cards here. All right, so we're going to start with this central card. So we have Six of Cups. Oh, this is one of my favorite Six of Cups. We've got a little girl who is holding a tea party in the night. And it literally, it feels like it's a summer night out in the woods by a stream. And all the fish are swimming upstream. But there's just such a beauty to it. And it's like all these fae surrounding her and loving her. You may have felt more at home with the actual like outdoors with, you know, magic and mystery and fae energy. So prominently, what I'm getting here a lot is learning how to love yourself, but learning how to really embrace your inner child. And that is how your ancestors really do see you. They see you as this beautiful, innocent, creative, adventurous child. It's like, even though, as a kid, you may have thought that these are just my stuffed animals, it's no big deal. It really is a big deal. It is a big deal because even though it may have seemed like these are just like childish things, they're not. They're not childish things. It's like each one of your ancestors embodied those stuffed animals or those toys or whatever it was around you as a kid. They were inside them. So when you would look in the eyes, your ancestors were looking back. This is such an interesting concept. I have never touched energy like this. It's so beautiful. But it's like you had all these mystical moments as a child, just kind of surrounded by all this mysticism. And they really see you that way. They see you as very innocent, very giving, very kind, very loving. Usually the Six of Cups talks about this energy of the past, but this one in particular, really, it carries this energy of seeing your youthfulness, seeing the beauty in who you are, seeing how loving and lovable you are, and wanting to really help you understand that is a part of who you are. So we're going to get messages from your mother's line first. Let's see what you have inherited from your mother's line. We have the Five of Cups. And she's holding a fish bowl, and the fish isn't in the water. The fish is above the water, but she's like looking at it quite uniquely. You may have a gift of scrying, water scrying. It's like what you have inherited from your mother's line is an ability to understand pain and move beyond it, to see the wonder and the beauty that comes from painful moments, to be able to, it's like this Five of Cups energy, there's a really strong energy of the Page of Cups with it, with that fish above the water. It's as though you have retained this innocence, this energy of being aware of all the possibilities within a painful moment. That's truly a blessing, more than you may realize, because most people, when they go through a moment of pain, they can't see anything beyond the pain. They feel it. It embodies their entire being, and the pain takes over. But you see everything through this lens of unconditional love and awareness and youthfulness. You see things in a way that maybe some people may have called you naive for seeing it, but it's not naivety, it's a purity. You see everything from the pure innocence of a child, the wonderment and the curiosity of your inner child. It's like you embody your inner child, and this is a gift. It's a true blessing. You also may have a deep resonance with water energy, and awareness and an ability to read and understand water in a completely different way than other people. It's like if you hear the trickle of a stream, you know what the water is telling you. You know about the direction it came from and the ways in which it has traveled. You know the parts of it that came from the sky and rainfall, and the parts that have been there for times well beyond what our minds can comprehend, how the stream used to be much bigger and it has grown much smaller over time, or vice versa, how it turns into a river, and the dreams and the hopes and the wishes that bodies of water have. It's like you understand water on a physical level, on a personal level, it's water's energy to you is human in nature, kind of. It's more than that. You may is it naiads and dryads? Dryads are from trees, I believe, and naiads are from water, I believe. I think, don't quote me on that. I can't remember. I keep seeing the word naiad in my third eye. N-Y-A-D? N-Y. You know what? Let me look it up. Naiads. Yeah, naiads are nymphs who preside over bodies of fresh water, such as lakes or streams or rivers. Yeah. So you may have been a naiad in a previous life, or that energy may be within your mother's line very strongly. So let's see what you inherited from your paternal line. We have the Two of Pentacles. You may have your Sun or your Saturn in Libra. That's coming through really strongly here. You may have your moon in an earth sign. That's Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. More so Capricorn than anything. But what you inherited from your father's line, you've actually inherited this beautiful blessing of being able to balance fire and earth energy together. You've been able to balance spiritual energy within the physical plane. Again, there's a lot of fae energy. It's it's kind of like you guys are like walking fairies. This is a very interesting energy. I don't normally tap into energy quite this strong with the fae. They have been very strong, and I did get Mystic Fairy Tarot, but I haven't worked a lot with it yet, so I didn't want to premiere it on my channel. But that is what I'm getting, especially on this side. Your moon energy has the energy of dryads. That would be why dryads came through, and those are tree nymphs. So from the mother's line, you have that water energy. From the father's line, you have that earth energy, and you've got this beautiful, like really very prominent divine feminine energy on both sides. So you may embody the divine feminine quite easily, but what you don't necessarily understand or know, I'm hearing, it's kind of like you know it, but you're not really sure, is that from your father's line in particular, divine feminine and divine masculine in balance and harmony, like equality, is a natural, it's a natural energy. These two being perfectly unified and balanced is a natural energy from your father's line. But because your mother's line is so predominantly water, you have that kind of excess of divine feminine. But if you tapped further into your father's line, you would actually be able to tap into more balance and harmony, which would help you equal out the mother's line a lot. So let's see what you're healing from each line. The Four of Cups. Yeah, longing, sadness, feeling left out, feeling alone, feeling out of place. You know, this particular Four of Cups, again, with the water energy, such strong water energy on your mother's side. Your mother may have been a water sign, sun, moon, rising. I just heard, or Venus. So that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and wow, Pisces. Why is the last one always like glitching in my brain? It's so weird. It's so strange. But with this Four of Cups, what you're healing is this feeling of being out of place. It's that feeling of being alone. That is what you're here to heal out of your mother's line. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily feel as though it's like there have been others in your family line, whether you have realized it or not, who have felt the same way you have, but they've masked it. They've put on some sort of like, it's like I've put on this outfit, I've put on this mask, I've put on the persona, I put the hat on of who I needed to be in order to feel as though I belonged. But they never did. And so they carried within them forever this permanent sense of solitude and aloneness and loneliness and isolation. And it's been this constant burden within the soul of your family line, of your mother's family line. And you're here to help heal that out by kind of stepping forward into your own place and into your own being and finding your place in the world and realizing that it doesn't have to be within what we call in this world family, but that you can still be in touch with the ancestors from the past because they understand you too. And in that way, you heal on a dualistic level. You heal this exterior as well as interior loneliness. You heal this loneliness of feeling like a stranger in a strange land, but you're in your own home, around your own family, around the people that birthed you and raised you. And you heal that because you finally found home within yourself, but you also understand that your ancestors, that there are ancestors in this line that have felt the exact same way as you. And because of that, ironically, that pain that you both have felt is what brings you together. And when pain brings two people together, it does it in such a beautiful way because the pain no longer becomes the prominence, but the union, the unity, the understanding becomes the prominence in the connection. And that's so beautiful. So let's see what you're healing from your father's line. We have the Page of Pentacles. Again, I have to say, you guys may be connected to another pile. But in this, it's this wisdom of, for this pile, what I'm picking up with the Page of Pentacles, there's a wisdom that comes with understanding this earthly realm and understanding the ways in which the youthfulness and the innocence can actually help you grow, plant seeds of strength and stability moving forward in this world and in this life. There's this, again, this just strong Fae energy, but the dragon energy is also standing out prominently. Again, there's that divine masculine that really wants to come through with this earth element. The divine masculine that's been sleeping, that's what you're healing. You're healing divine masculine energy by realizing that, yes, you have divine feminine so incredibly strong, so incredibly prominently for you. But you can awaken the divine masculine in this lifetime and take action moving forward so that you don't feel as though you are constantly struggling to juggle everything and to be everything and do everything, but you have the wisdom of understanding when to move, where to move, how to move. And in doing so, you send out this resonant signal of a healed heart, and you really unify yourself in this joyful nature. Gold may be a very significant color for you in this lifetime. It may be a power color, a power metal for you to harness. You can, by wearing gold, that could help you a lot feel more connected. So let's see the messages from your mother's line. Okay. We have, oh my God, Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Okay, we're going to keep going. Oh, I love that. 3, sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. You see? There's so much here. This is so powerful. And then we have action. Again, with that divine masculine, but water energy. Water, 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 but bringing the divine masculine into water. This is about you moving beyond those patterns. Exactly what we've been talking about with feeling alone, feeling isolated. They have felt that way too, but you're moving beyond that. You're learning how to tap your inner world, how to understand how you can be strong and be bold and be yourself, moving forward in the midst of what feels like a storm. It feels like chaos. It's about you stepping up into the role of the elder now. Once you move beyond these patterns of feeling lonely and then putting on a mask, putting on a face and pretending to be something that you're not or someone that you're not, when you choose, I'm to move beyond it, when you say, I am strong enough and I understand my inner world enough that I'm going to move beyond this and I'm going to take action-oriented steps moving forward to love myself more, to open my heart up, to really step into who I am and to flow with my natural rhythms, my natural understanding. I don't want to feel alone and isolated anymore. I'm going to tap into what is natural and right for me moving forward. I'm going to hold on to that resonant innocence and youthfulness within me. And I'm going to embrace my inner child and move forward from there. You're breaking those patterns. When you move beyond those patterns, when you break those chains that are holding you and your family in this place, in this energy, when you break that and move forward with this action, moving forward, embracing your gifts, but embracing who you are without any hiding, no more masking, no more wearing the hats of what everybody says you need to be or who you need to be, but moving forward from there. When you do that, when you break that cycle and move beyond those patterns, you become the elder. You become the elder. And that is literally what your ancestors have been trying to help you understand. Once you step into the elder role, now you're ready to help others. And when you're ready to help others in a way that is healthy for you, you're ready to be open to new energies coming in, and you're not constantly welcoming in new energies simply because you feel isolated, but because you don't feel isolated anymore, because you know that there are those out there that are waiting and ready to come in for you, because you're sitting in a state of true happiness. Instead of trying to make other people happy and help other people be happy, you're in this truth of who you are. This isolated feeling is ready to be healed out of your family line, but you have to make the choice to heal it for yourself first. So let's see what your father line says. Yes, Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. This is this energy right here with the Two of Pentacles energy really strongly. It's understanding that you have this beautiful balance and harmony within your divine masculine and divine feminine when you tap into this side and this energy. And you can trust yourself as things go and flow, ebbing, coming in, going out. Your gifts and your talents are what keep you moving forward in the midst of everything else that seems so kind of trickery kind of energy. Your gifts and talents don't ever change. They grow, they strengthen, they adapt and blend in different ways, but they're yours. They don't get taken, and you're not foolish for embracing yourself. Yeah, 26, conscious steps, considered action and looking forward. And then we have miracles. Oh my God, I love that. I just heard, look for miracles and you will find them. Like, look for miracles and you will find them. But look at yourself and see what a miracle you actually are. Look at what a miracle your life is. I gotta tell you, pile 2, not very many people who choose these high vibrational stones and the energy of feeling very isolated and alone, and as though you're the only one, or as though you're so unique, and you are that unique. But not many people who have this kind of energy here would be able to understand what a miracle they are. They wouldn't be able to retain their inner child's energy the way that you retain yours. That inner child energy gets lost so often. And especially when you're working on balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine, we can forget about bringing in harmony and balance to our inner child. But you're doing that, and your family, your ancestors are so proud of you. They really are. So let's get some closing messages. Ancestors on the maternal and paternal bloodline sides for pile 2. Can I get messages for pile 2 for moving forward. Ooh. Okay. We get messages for pile. Thank you. Okay. So we have descending roots to the south, anchoring the soul to life, giving form to purpose with earth energy. I'm actually going to put this over here with your mother's side because I feel like you could use more grounding with the mother's side with all this water energy. Oh my gosh. Okay. From the frozen north, falling from the sky, cleansing and clearing souls, we have the water energy. This is what I was saying. You guys have, both of these are divine feminine energies. You guys have the surplus of divine feminine energies with earth and water energies. So it's about bringing in the masculine. See, earth and water, literally like right here, earth and water. It says, listen to the song of your heart. It will show you the truth. You guys may want to watch Pocahontas because I just heard, listen with your heart, you will understand. And that's Grandmother Willow. So, listen with your heart, you will understand. Oh my gosh. Within your being, there are galaxies filled with limitless creative inspirations. Fill your life with possibilities from those sparks. Seriously, that's that energy here of like knowing that the impossible is always possible. Even though this is the 5 of Cups, it has such a strong Page of Cups energy. And then we have chaos begets creativity if one does not choose destruction. I love that. That definitely feels like it needs to be over here. And lead your life with love, honesty, and integrity. See, this love energy is what's really, really awakening within you. But it's not like romantic. It is romantic love for some of you. There is some romantic love that I'm feeling. But for a lot of you, this is self-love. Like I said, it's a self-love journey. Okay, well, this one wants to be up. Honesty only hurts when you've been lying. I love that. I absolutely love this message because it lets you know that, you know, sometimes you can be really honest and you can worry because people are like, oh, that's so painful. That's so mean. That's so this and that. This one feels like it's calling to you as well. Getting in touch with Mother Nature puts you in touch with your true nature. I'm going to put that here. But with this, honesty only hurts when you've been lying. It lets you know, like, okay, but if you are speaking a truth and you're worried that someone is going to get hurt by it, that only means that they are going to be hurt because they have been lying to themselves. You don't have to temper who you are in order to appease everyone because of their own actions and reactions. You only control your own. So if you're coming from a place from the heart, if you're coming from a place from the heart, then you don't need to be worried about pain when it comes to honesty. This is about leading your life. Your ancestors want you to understand what you're here to do is create. Live a creative lifestyle. Live a life that is aligned with your heart. Know that when you do that, you do truly move in a state of welcoming in miracles, leading your life and showing the world what it looks like to be the embodiment of miracles. You know, some of you may resonate with having had some sort of near-death experience. When you have a near-death experience, you can feel this energy of I'm not supposed to be here anymore. You can take that in one of two ways. You can feel as though, well, I'm not supposed to be here anymore, so I am more grateful for the life that I'm living and the breath and the air in my lungs and the ability to breathe in and out and the ability to live my life. Or you could be like, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. Why am I here? Woe is me. It depends. How do you want to see it? And are you being honest with yourself? Or is some sort of perspective that you have hurting you? If a perspective that you have is hurting you, then it isn't honest. It's not true to you. Hold yourself to what feels right and what is true. If it feels painful to say, I feel so isolated and alone, if that brings you pain, then take that as understanding that it's not your truth. You're not isolated and alone. You're meant to connect. You're not naive. You're not childish or naive. And you're not, I just heard wicked. You're not wicked. You're beautiful and brave and brilliant. And you're meant to break free from these patterns. You're meant to move beyond them and become a different person than everyone who came before. They're not counting on you to do this. You're counting on you to do this. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve a life filled with love, honesty, integrity, with creativity, with following your heart. You deserve that. You deserve to live true to yourself, not putting yourself into whatever shoes you think that everybody else needs, but by living fully and happily and joyfully and emotionally fulfilled, connected and accepted, and accepting yourself. You deserve that. And this life is here for you to do that. All right, pile 2. I am sending you guys like the biggest energetic hug right now. I did not expect these messages to get so deep and emotional. I probably should have, but man. All right, pile 2. I love you guys so much. I want to say thank you so much to your guides, my guides, spirit, and your ancestors for coming through, for flowing these messages forth and bringing them to the collective of pile 2. Thank you so much. All right, pile 2. Don't forget to go and check out Colleen from Spiritualistic and her part of this collaboration with messages from your star ancestors. The link will be in the description box as well as the comment section below. So make sure you go and check her out. She is amazing, incredibly insightful, and I definitely can tell you guys have messages there, especially with the pile that you guys chose with the galaxies and stars and cosmos coming up so strongly. Definitely check those out. And yeah, pile 2, I'm just sending you guys all my love. Or if this reading resonated, a really great way for an equal energy exchange is for you to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell, comment in the comment section below, let other pile 2s know that you guys are here. That's a really great way that you guys can connect with each other, using the comment section to connect to each other and comment back and forth with each other, and really allow yourselves to be open to understanding that you're all at that equal part right now where you're ready and you're open to meeting each other. And it's really beautiful. Really very beautiful. I would love to interact with you guys. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I absolutely love interacting with you guys on my channel. Truly, it's such a blessing. So, all right, you guys, there are links in the description box for all my other stuff, like my rising sign messages. But more than anything, make sure you guys go and check out Colleen's channel. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3. So we're going to go ahead and cleanse this space. And then we're going to light the candles together to get started for this pile. Okay. Got one. So normally I would have all of this stuff going and ready, and I would have the rain sounds turned down, and I would have, I would have turned my heater down because it's not quite so cold today. But you guys chose the Storm Spirit Chaos card, and card number 42. And the funny thing is 42 reduces down to a 6. And the number 6 is about not just unconditional love, but it's about balance and harmony and peace and finding one's way in equality. But when you separate two of the proponents of it, when you separate the foundation from the balance, so the 4 from the 2, when you separate these two into two separate numbers, then you have this constant struggle to blend them back together to find your sense of balance. Now, the storm spirit chaos has Zeus on it. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, you could say it was Odin, but it has a very Zeus feel to it because of the thunderbolt or the lightning bolt. And then you guys chose the bracelet that is moss agate with clear quartz. And clear quartz is an amplifier stone in this particular bracelet. But the moss agate is a stone about tranquility and emotional harmony and emotional balance. It is a perfect stone for those who experience things like strong aggression or an imbalance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. If you had, for instance, a troubled childhood, this is a really great stone for you. Now, the reason why I didn't turn the sound machine down and it didn't turn the heater off, which FYI, I am going to do in a little bit, just because it's really not that cold, so it doesn't need to be on as high as it is, and I'm kind of roasting here. But I wanted to allow for the energy to really be infused within my surroundings, because there's this energy of needing to bring things back into balance. With this chaos card, there's a sense of things are out of control. Things are out of your hands, out of what you have perceived them to be. And there's a strong energy of acknowledgement with that. But when it came time to sit down with the energies here and to identify what energies and what sound was being called for with your pile, it wasn't the thunderstorm sounds that I expected. You know, my logical brain was like, okay, thunderstorm sounds. But your ancestors gave a very firm no, it needed to be rain. It needed to be rain, because your ancestors are acknowledging all the work that you have done to bring the 4 and the 2 together, to bring them together so that you can usher in more balance, more harmony, more peace, more stability, more tranquility into your life in the midst of a life filled with chaos. Pile 3, you have this energy about you right now that your ancestors want to acknowledge, want to really bring to the forefront. And that is that you are very different from the chaotic upbringing that you've had, from this feeling as though everything is out of control and everything is out of your hands, to recognizing it's like the serenity prayer is like your go-to energy now. You recognize when there are things that you just simply can't change, things that you can't control, things that you have no power over, but you recognize the parts that you have control and power over within yourself and within your life. And you may have had to face some really, really challenging choices in your life. You know, growing up, you never think as a kid, well, someday I'm going to have to choose to not speak to my family. You don't think those things. We're not generally raised that way. To be like, okay, well, when I'm an adult, I'm going to have the choice of whether I want to speak to my family or not moving forward. But there are times where we come to that point, and especially along the spiritual journey, we come to this point where we realize there's nothing left for me to talk about with you people. Like, and it's not being said in a derogatory or a negative way. It's just this revelation of I have progressed and advanced beyond this connection. And when that connection is a soul tie, a family tie, a blood tie, you know, the way that this world is built is, you know, family matters. Family matters so much. And so you can feel that really deep within your soul, that choice of, I can't continue to engage in this way, but if they won't progress, advance, change, I can't do that. your ancestors today are really acknowledging the journey that you've been on, because to come from chaos and find yourself in a place of balance and harmony, in a place of harvest and things coming to fruition that have always been meant to come to your life and to fruition, it's a really beautiful energy. It's a really beautiful thing to witness. And your ancestors, more than anything, want you to know that they have stood witness to the changes that you have made, because the changes that you have made have actually deeply impacted the family lines. Whether you have been able to witness that yourself or not, they have more wisdom, more insight, more perspective than we are capable of having within our physical existence. They see on a higher level, a higher awareness, and they want you to know that you have deeply impacted, and it has reverberated through generations. I'm actually being brought to a conversation that I had with someone that I had just kind of randomly met this past fall in Walmart, because I went there to go get canning jars for making apple butter. And she and I got to talking, and there was an entire ancestors line that I was being shown visions of, but they were all pretty much saying the same thing. And they were talking about mindsets in terms of a lake, and how, you know, we each are in our own boat, and our boats interact with each other, and each boat is anchored to the bottom, but some boats choose to lift that anchor. Some boats choose to be able to move through the water. And when you move a boat through the water, even when the lake is absolutely placid, there's no movement whatsoever. Even in that moment, when you move, you create ripple effects. And even though there are still some people within any ancestry or lineage that are in those boats that are anchored to the bottom and stuck in that one way of perception and belief and mindset, when the boats that make ripples and move do so, they impact all the boats on the lake. So if you have all of your ancestry is on this lake with a singular mentality of something, whether that's superiority, inferiority, whether it's a hierarchy complex or what have you, this is a mentality and mindset, you know, call it, for yours in particular, I actually feel as though it's a poverty mindset surrounding creativity. No, that's really specific, but that's a very strong energy. So to grow up in that environment on that lake, so to speak, you have to choose whether you're going to anchor yourself to this belief system that you can't make any money by living a creative lifestyle. If you choose to drop anchor into this, then that is the reality that you're creating in your life. But if you choose to raise that anchor up from the bottom of that lake and choose to see that you choose how your creativity is meant to be in terms of financial wellness, and you say, I'm going to live a creative lifestyle and it's going to provide for me all that I desire, all that I need in this lifetime, and you hold that as your mindset, but not just a mindset, you put that as a core belief, a core foundational belief. Now you're rebalancing the scales of what was perceived before. And so when you do that and you prove that that is possible, it's creating a sense of chaos in the lake as it was, because you're creating waves. But even if there are a million other boats and this lake is unending and completely still all the time, when you make waves, your waves go out like a ripple and they hit each of the other boats, and it makes those other boats shift even just a little bit. And as you do that, then when these boats shift and when the mindsets shift just a little bit because of your actions, simply because you're living your truest existence, you're aiding in an opening of a narrowed mindset. You aid in that energetically, and the ramifications of that are actually quite large, and they benefit so many. They benefit so many when you do that. That is a very powerful message for you guys. Wow. Okay. So the way that this reading works is we're looking and tapping into the ancestors of your bloodlines. This is the energy of the message from your ancestors and how they view you and what they, their perception of you is. This is from your mother's line. This is from your father's line. These two cards here are what you have inherited from each of the family lines. And these here in the middle are what you are healing from each of the lines. So let's start with the middle. So we have the 5 of Cups. I love this. There's such a beautiful crossover energy with all the piles. While all the messages are unique and different from each other, there is still this kind of underlying thread of awareness of how each of you really are such a beautiful collective and community within yourselves. And I just needed to throw that out there because one of the biggest messages of this 5 of Cups card is holding on to the inner child. So this particular 5 of Cups actually has a lot of allusion to the Page of Cups. And when we grow up, we can actually lose that energy, that Page of Cups energy of anything and everything is possible. And I'm going to live the life that I dream of. But now this 5 of Cups, normally we look at the 5 of Cups as, the cup card of crying over spilt milk or, bemoaning a loss that isn't a true blue loss. It's just like, oh, this again, and not turning around, not seeing what you have available to you, not seeing all the love and surroundings. It's like looking at this one fish that's out of water without realizing that you've got 2 fish right here, that you have this ocean right in front of you, that you can literally capture all the fish that you desire to have, but you're focused on this one fish because it's out of water and it doesn't seem to make any sense. So it creates a kind of confusion for you. So what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose a fish that's here, that's out of the water, and I know that the fish out of water it can't survive, or we tell it that it can't survive. Or are you going to hold on to that fish and say, you know what? You can tell me that it won't survive, but I believe in adaptation. I believe in evolution, and I believe that this is something that can work. And now, of course, we're using the fish as a metaphor because, scientifically speaking, a fish out of water is not going to adapt. It's going to die. Plus, it's a goldfish. They die easily. But your ancestors on both sides are letting you know you have this beautiful, emotional, adventurous nature. And you see the world through the lens of the innocence of a child. And it's something that you've held on to most of your life, or rather all of your life. You've held on to it since you were a child, even if you have been in the midst of chaos and confusion. This is where your safe place has been and always will be. It's within the childlike nature of true faith and belief in whatever you want to believe is possible. When you believe in the impossible and you see the impossible as the only possibility, then you see that everything in life is possible from there. And it's this energy with this particular, just this one singular 5 of Cups. They see you as being this person who, you look at something like a rainstorm, and this goes back to the noise machine in the background. You see something like a rainstorm, like we're listening to right now, and the reason why they chose this for you is because other people see the possibility of flooding, and they see it as the possibility of bringing on a thunderstorm, and a thunderstorm brings tornadoes, and tornadoes bring destruction, and this and that and whatever. And so they constantly build and build and build until they actually bring it in that's what's going to happen. And it's this kind of energy of and no, I'm not saying that they're manifesting the weather. I'm just saying that's the things that they interact with in this life, their fears amplify them. You see a rainstorm and you don't see the possibility of it getting worse. You see a rainstorm and you see cleansing, clearing, healing, tranquility, peace. You see it as the ultimate gift from Mother Nature falling from the sky. It's a beautiful energy of the inner child. You see it as like, oh my gosh, there are going to be puddles and I'm going to be able to jump in them and play in them and laugh and have fun and experience something that has always brought me joy ever since I was a child. That's how you view a rainstorm versus the way that your family views it. And I need to kind of specify that this message that's coming through is coming through in a metaphorical sense. Granted, I will allow for the possibility that this is also a actual literal thing that you do. For the most part, this is about the metaphor of what this stands for. It's the way that you view the world. This 5 of Cups, you could view the world as being sad and bleak and depressing and everything dies and everything falls apart and all of that. But that's just not what your ancestors are saying. They are saying that you actually see this world exactly as it is, filled with magic and possibility. And it's through you that those things exist and maintain their presence within the world in your family line. And it's because you have held on to that belief for so long. And that's truly so beautiful to know, to see, to witness, to channel for you guys. But your ancestors really acknowledge how amazing it is simply to be within your vast, they're saying within your vastness. They want you to know that just simply being within your vastness, being within the energy of what you do and who you are and how you view the world and view everything within this world really makes a difference to them, because it's so youthful. And you think, they're saying, you may think it to be naive, but we see it as the epitome of everything that we have always wished we could have maintained and held on to in our lives. It's beauty. It's true, like soul deep beauty that you maintain. And they see that and acknowledge it so deeply. So let's see what you guys are inheriting from each line. All right. So let's see. From the mother line, you have the 7 of Swords. Okay. So what I'm getting from this is on the mother's line, what you've inherited is the ability to see deception when it comes in, but you also have the ability to move beyond deceptive mindsets, things that would hold you back, things that would betray you, karmic imbalances, karmic injustices. You see them for what they are, which is nothing more or less than just kind of this stack or pile of mindsets that would hold you back, and you see them for what they are, and you know how to navigate around them in order to move to where you're meant to be. The other thing that I'm getting with this is a set of, this is interesting. It's like a set of mindsets, a set of mentalities that allows you to circumvent certain things in this life that would hold you back. Confusion, cloudiness, chaos, uncertainty, and you're able to see it on an energetic level. So this may be, you may end up resonating more with, you feel it. It's just a feeling you have. Like, I just have a feeling about this. I call those kind of things my knowings. That's like claircognizance. I just know it. I can feel it. It's a knowing that I have. And for you, it's like, okay, I just can feel that this is not the way to go, that this is the way to go. So while it may seem, there's almost an energy of a 7 of Cups here. So it may seem like there's a lot of different paths you can take and a lot of different avenues you can go down. you can feel the deception of the many, because the many aren't always going to lead you where you need to. They may lead you down a path that requires you to backtrack until you get there. So you can see where you need to go. You can see people who aren't being their truest self, people who are wearing masks, people who aren't embracing their truest nature. This is a gift that you have inherited from your mother's line, from the bloodline of your mother's or your maternal side. This ability to see through it. It's like you have a looking glass, and when you look through it, you see the reality of things. You see, and it's not just on a soul level, like you can see the goodness in everybody and the soul of everybody, but you can also see their shadows. And you see the ways in which they're operating out of one or the other or both at times. So you are able to really bear witness to different aspects of people that aren't necessarily in their conscious awareness. So let's see the father's line. We have the Six of Wands. You have the ability, something that you have definitely inherited from your father's line is you have this ability to grow things in the most desolate of circumstances or situations. It's like you can grow, you have the ability to grow an oasis within the desert kind of energy. And some of you may actually be able to grow, like have a green thumb and be gardeners. That is an energy here. But more than anything, with this Six of Wands, it's like I can find success in a situation that no one else would be able to. Why? Because there's something coded within you that knows how to navigate. And in this way, these two things blend together so beautifully because they kind of play off of each other. You see the deception of this path or that path. And so when you choose not to go down the deceptive path, you choose to go down the path that looks deceptively challenging. So it's like, do you walk into a lush and fertile, verdant garden? Or do you venture into the desert with the extremes in temperatures, swings, and dangers that you can't see because the sun beats down so hard that it's hard to see with the glare of the sun on the sand? But at night it gets so cold that it's not safe to venture out. Like the absolute extremes, which way do you venture? You see the garden as the deception because the garden is actually filled with, creatures and beings and whatever that would defeat you, that would poison you, what have you, again, we're working in metaphors, guys. And then you go down into the desert, and because you have this beautiful innate gift from your father's line, what other people would have seen as the wrong path for you and tried to dissuade you from taking this path is actually your truest path, because you have this innate ability to create something from nothing, to create victory where no victory could possibly be per the perceptions of others. And that's a really beautiful thing. So let's see what you're healing. From the mother's line, you are healing the King of Swords. Okay, and again, we've got some Odin energy with this particular one. We also have, I want to say that's the Venusian man, so that's Metatron energy here as well. But what I get from this is what you're healing from that is a harshness. There's a harshness to the perception. It's like my words lack wisdom, but they carry with them the sword. And you're healing this way of being by connecting and being more open-minded. I'm not going to stand on, like, I'm not going to build my foundations off the bones and ashes of other people. I'm not going to destroy others so I can elevate. I'm going to use my wisdom to speak my truths with clarity and peace, and know that I have guides that will aid me in this journey. That's a really beautiful thing. It's this speaking without wisdom. Like you can speak knowledge plenty, but the trick is making knowledge into wisdom. And that's something that you are healing. You're turning everything that is a knowing into something that is a wise, sage awareness and understanding. It's just like I've walked through the desert barefoot and I created an oasis simply by my footprints being left behind in the sand. Because I've done this, I understand the nature of struggle, of pain, of temptation, because I saw the garden right there, but I chose the desert. And because I chose the desert, I went down this path that should have been more challenging, but I know that I have this contained within me. And so in a big way, there's some sort of energetic tie between the father and the mother line that doesn't have to do with your actual mother and father. It has to do with you. Some of you may not even know your mother and father. You may be adopted. That's for a few of you. I don't want to say it's for a large amount because I'm literally seeing like a select handful is what I'm seeing. But there's the tie between these two energies is literally you. It's like you have some sort of karmic, cosmic, soul contracted tie between these two so that the gifts that you have from one aid the gifts from the other, and the healing of one is aided by the gifts of the other, and vice versa. You know, it's like all of these are intertwined really beautifully. I haven't seen this yet. In any of the other piles, I have not seen this level of interwoven energies with it's an energy of absence that goes along with it. That would be why that message came in the beginning about having to choose not to speak to your family. Some of you may actually be completely no contact with your biological family. But it doesn't change the fact that you and your ancestors have this beautiful energy and tie. Your ancestors genuinely are guides for you in this life. But they may feel more like family than you realize. Like, well, I feel more attached or more connected to my guides than I do to my own family. But what you may not realize is your guides are your own family. That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful, pile 3. Wow. Okay, let's see what you're healing from your father's line. We have the 9 of Pentacles. And again, see this particular 9 of Pentacles has someone playing the piano. And again, it's that energy of being able to be independently creative and allow for that creativity to build the future that you desire, to build the life that you desire. There is a strong proponent here of financial freedom through creativity. And sometimes chaotic lives, like when you live chaotically at any point in your life, that chaos breeds or begets creativity. And that's actually a message that I got when I was channeling during rising sign messages. And I loved it so much, I made it into a note card. And I have the note cards to bring out. We're going to shuffle those at the very end. But that is something that I picked up is chaos begets creativity. So chaos leads to creativity. It brings us into a creative flow. Why? Because if you think about the nature of chaos in terms of planetary energies, we have Aquarius and Uranus energy. And when we have those energies, which actually leads me into the new moon on January 21st is in Aquarius. That may be a very prominent new moon for you. That could be, you could be let's see, that would make you, oh my goodness. I want to say it would make you a Sagittarius rising. Yes. You may be a Sagittarius rising. Because I'm getting either a Sagittarius rising or a Gemini rising, because I'm getting Aquarius in the 4th and the 10th house. You could also have Aquarius in the 3rd house, which would make you, I believe, let's see. Scorpio rising? Capricorn rising. Make you a Capricorn rising. Yeah. That could, you don't have to have those placements, but there's something about the new moon in Aquarius that's significant for this energy, for resetting or restarting something on a creative scale. Yeah, but you guys are definitely here to take chaos and turn it into creativity, because it's about channeling it into something that you can pour your emotions into, that it's healthy. And that's that bringing together the 4 and the 2. It's bringing balance into your foundation once more by blending them together to create the 6. So let's see the messages that we have from your mother's line. Love that we have success. We have the card 5 with wisdom of the Magi, with mental clarity, and you have all swords energy. Yeah. So the air energy, this is the funny thing, is air energy, swords energy, that's a divine masculine energy, but it's from your maternal line. So you may have your mother's family line, your maternal ancestry, maybe more predominantly divine masculine energies, and your paternal line may be more dominantly divine feminine energies. And then we have medicine guardian, be open to healing information. So this is a lot of crown and heart chakra is what I'm getting from these. So this is about aligning your heart with your soul's destiny, with spirit, with the clarity and wisdom of where you're going. You know, wisdom was a key feature of this King of Swords energy, and we do have the wisdom of the Magi card here. I didn't even put those together until just now. There is a success that is ready for you, and your ancestors are letting you know that you really have successfully moved yourself into a kind of state of motion on the lake in comparison to others in your family line. And they want that acknowledged deeply, because you have healed so much. And it's by opening your heart to deeper healing. You could have Mercury in Aquarius as well in your natal chart. Mercury in Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Just Mercury in one of the air signs, which would make you, if you feel like you carry an energy that is more hypercritical, or that is more, it's almost like you're more mental than other energies. And I don't mean mental in the negative, derogatory way. I mean, like, you're more in your air energy, your mentality energy, like the energy of your mental body versus your emotional or physical. When you are preparing to take action or taking action in the world, seeking success in the world, that energy right there. Let's get the messages from your father's side, because this feels a little bit incomplete to me. We have gateway. You know, the weird thing that I'm getting from this is it's almost like the sky is the same for all 3 of these. If you look, it's like the sky is the same for all 3 of these, and that the chaos really is the break between your gateway to success. Is like you needed something to shake. There was something that needed to be shaken to your core, to your foundation. You needed that shake up in order to enter that gateway of success. Yeah, see, they just seem to flow so well. And yeah, again, we've got 4 and freedom. Look, 4 to 5. So moving on and letting go. So when okay, we're going to move here first, because it's almost like it goes like this. Spring, see your seeds grow. Literally, we are moving into the spring season. That's amazing. Okay, So, and again, we've got that crown chakra. So when you plant the seeds for this creativity, it takes a lot of mental clarity, mental peace. It takes a lot of wisdom to keep moving forward. What's going on, what I'm seeing here, this message is, it's congruent. It's flowing. It's literally like a bridge is being created by you in this moment, so that you're going to, or you have already begun to see your seeds grow. Some of you have already been able to see some growth and some change in some area of your life, and especially regarding the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Wands. So this is a very big success for you, because it felt as though you were in the desert, as though things were dried up, as though things would never change. No one would ever understand you. You would never have that accomplishment. You would never have that success, whatever it was. You have some sort of frame of reference of what your success is going to be. And there's a part of you that was still anchored to the mindset that you could not succeed in this area. But as you chose to let go of that, those are the seeds that have been planted first and foremost, is that letting go energy. It's opened up a gateway that has seemed very chaotic. It seemed very chaotic because there's actually a card in this deck as well that talks about by tower or tornado, the clearing has begun. And I talk about this often, especially lately, in terms of what a tornado does to the topsoil. It rips up the topsoil to bring more fertility to the land. And so in a big way, tornadoes, while yes, they have these paths of destruction. And I literally just saw lightning out of my third eye, like crazy. Like some of you may be experiencing a thunderstorm as you're watching this. That's crazy. I've had that happen once before, where I literally saw like a spider drop in my third eye, and it freaked me out until I realized the spider wasn't actually there. I was just seeing it with my third eye. And one of my subscribers had actually seen the spider firsthand at their house right before they started my reading. And it was one of those beautiful confirmation moments. But anyway, I did see lightning just now, but it was like you needed that topsoil to be more fertilized, to be ready for these seeds that you've planted to grow. Now you're moving into an energy of success because you have found that mental clarity. You've been healing this King of Swords energy for a good long while. And because you've been healing it and clearing it and finding that clarity, you're now open to more information. And as you open to more information, the more downloads you get and the more you understand what you're meant to plant moving forward. And then it comes like full circle, and then you plant your seeds for whatever it is. Some sort of financial freedom, creative freedom. So can we get just some closing energies? I know that almost feels incomplete, but I'm getting this hush hush energy in a really beautiful way. It's like your ancestors are like, no, this is going to be a super surprise for the rest of the world, but you know what they're talking about. Okay, it says fear is a choice. Happiness is a choice. We can always choose the one which feels the best. Yeah, that's like you going into the desert. You've literally chosen to move into an energy that other people would fear, but you chose to move into it with this happy, open heart. And because of that, you literally created the oasis. Yes, who is the author of your narrative? Who holds the pen? These are questions, I get that energy from the King of Swords, that these are questions that you have literally had to ask yourself, because when fear holds the pen, then fear becomes the author of the narrative. And then you have to ask yourself, are you letting fear run your life, or are you allowing for you to take the reins? Are you taking accountability and ownership for what you're here to do and create and who you are? Are you allowing for the ways in which you grew up to have a say over anything else? What do you want to experience, fear or happiness? And when you choose, that one is the one that you move forward with. That is what you find your comfort and your sense of feeling loved and courageous moving forward in. So we have northwest, and it says, falling droplets from the sky creates emotional wisdom as ripples spread out from mental clarity, oh my God, to the truth from the soul. That is double mental clarity for you guys. And this is about the balance of masculine and feminine, but emotional mentality, emotional awareness within the mind. Oh my God. Literally, we have all four elements here. We've got southeast and a tornado. It says the funneling down of the inner flame fills the physical life with a new passionate purpose. So as you move forward, you're literally taking this knowledge and turning it into emotional wisdom. And by doing so, you're finding this mental clarity about the communication between you and your soul so that you can find this passionate purpose for your life and literally set it ablaze, like move forward and blaze forward. All right, can we get one more? Okay, it says, only you know how far you can go. It's based entirely on your determined faith in you. Exactly. This is what we were talking about, that you've turned a wisdom into a sense of faith within yourself about what you're going to do. What can your creativity actually do for you? And finally, they have a question for you. Why would you hold yourself back from true fulfillment? So this, again, these questions here, you may want to journal about these questions because it almost feels like these are going to give you something for healing information from within that is ready for you to move forward with, so that this faith becomes your grounding point so you can move forward and understand that you don't have to live this chaos anymore. But even though others may perceive it as chaos, you see the creativity in everything that's going on. This is amazing. Pile 3. I want to hug you guys so bad. This is just, it's so beautiful. I want to say thank you so much for being here. This is literally all I'm getting for you guys. So I want to say thank you so much. I want to say thank you to your guides, my guides, spirit, and your ancestors for coming forward, for sharing these messages and these wisdoms and this awareness with you all through me. It's been quite a wild journey with you guys, and I am really truly honored to bring these messages forth and to work with your ancestors. And I'm so impressed with you, Pile 3, because I can feel how strenuous this has been. So thank you so much. All right. Pile 3, please make sure that if you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated, that you do an equal energy exchange. The easiest way to do that is to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, comment in the comment section below, let other Pile 3s know. I have been doing that a lot lately. Other Pile 3s know, solidarity, community, coming together, just that none of you are alone. And please make sure that you guys go and check out Colleen's messages with messages from your star ancestors. She's absolutely amazing over on Spiritualistic, and it's truly an honor to work with her. And I definitely know that, working with her has been such a blessing, but her insights and wisdom are just out of this world, literally and figuratively. So please make sure you check her out. The link to her reading will be in the description box as well as in the comment section below. And there are other links in my description box if you guys feel so inclined to check those out, donations, booking personal readings, and what have you. Not a requirement at all, not expected at all. I would prefer you guys checking Colleen's channel with Spiritualistic out first and foremost. So, all right, Pile 3s. I'm going to leave you here. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. So we're going to cleanse your space. Now, Pile 4. It's time for me to be real with you guys. You guys are the only pile that I was called to use Palo Santo with instead of sage. I do also have dragon's blood going with you guys. And you guys, the first thing that I'm getting is kind of linked to pile 3. And I don't normally, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I don't normally say another pile. But the only reason why I'm saying that is because of the reflection numbers. And because of that, the only reason why I say you guys are kind of linked to that is because your energy is utterly oppositional. With you guys having chosen the meandering pathway and the flow card, which is the number 24, as well as the Dalmatian jasper. And I know I said it was black matte onyx, but it's actually black matte agate. So a little bit of a different stone, but the purpose behind it was the same in this particular bracelet. It's about clearing and cleansing the aura, grounding yourself into a more joyful and playful energy to really welcome in more luck, more awareness. You guys may have recently felt called to watch the movie Brave, the Disney movie Brave, or resonate with Celtic traditions, mythology, history, druidry, Celtic Ogham, also runes, the Romani, kind of wandering gypsies. Now with meandering pathway and flow card, it's got a wizard on the card, and I heard Gandalf. And I didn't hear Gandalf in the terms of like Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White from Lord of the Rings. I actually thought about Gandalf from Friends. So there's an episode in Friends where Ross and Chandler, I want to say it's season 2, I believe, where Ross and Chandler are really excited because their friend Gandalf is in town finally. And every time they're with Gandalf, all these crazy things happen. It's like How I Met Your Mother's The Blitz episodes, where everything amazing always happens as soon as the Blitz leaves. That's the kind of energy, except that you guys aren't Gandalf. It's the fact that you guys realize that you don't need a Gandalf in your life in order to embody those adventures, those creative experiences. There's this energy of kind of like, I'm going to go with whatever I need to go with because the rest of the world just doesn't see life the way that I see it. What I see of life is kind of like everything doesn't matter at all. And it all matters at the same time. Everything in life is nothing more or less than what we make of it, but we also don't have control over 90% of what is made. And because of this, people don't necessarily always understand you, but you're always in flow with your own path. So I said that I was going to be doing sounds with my sound machine in the background for every pile. And for your pile, I have to say, because every pile I had thought I had an idea of what sounds I was going to be using, every single one has caught me off guard. I have used equally no sound as well as the exact opposite sound as something. And for yours, it's literally nothing more or less than white noise. And the only reason I'm using white noise is because I don't have pink or brown noise on my sound machine. I only have white noise. But white noise is traditionally something that is used for EVPs, for hearing spirit. And that's something here with you guys where it's almost like you guys intuitively take the time to sit with spirit, to hear spirit, to flow with spirit. And that's such a beautiful energy because people don't truly understand that. But your ancestors are coming forth to let you know that there is a beautiful uniqueness about you. And I'm seeing a vision, and I've had this vision before. I had this vision this past fall of a little child, and they're with their mother, and their mother is now passed on, but the child is maybe 5 or 6, playing in the woods, playing in the forest. And both the mother and child see the beauty in Mother Nature, see the nature spirits. And the little child has like a treasure map. And on this treasure map are all these different locations and these different clues. And at the end of the treasure map, it's like a tea party is set up with the mother. And there's something so tangible about that. But in a big way, pile 4, you're both the mother and the child in that memory or in that vision. I don't know why I called it a memory. Could be a memory for someone. That could be someone's memory. But at this point in your journey, you are both the mother and the child. It's like you're both the mother and the father, both the mother and the child, both the father and the child. You're embodying all of the archetypes that we all talk about in the spiritual community, about bringing them into balance and learning them and growing them. It's like you're embodying them now. And it's so natural. And that's why you already carry the energy of Gandalf. You already have that. You have balance rooted in your foundation. And you have this sense of wonderment and joy. You know, one of the number one messages that I've been getting for all of the piles, and this is such a beautiful energy within my collective that come to my channel, is it's this beautiful essence of an inner child becoming the ways in which you meet the world. It's like you're the child at the meet and greet of the world. And the world is here to greet you, to meet you and your inner child. And that's such a beautiful energy. It's so natural and flowing. But with you, there's something so mystical about your energy. And it seems quite unique. It's almost, I'm hearing you're like the ice cream man, where do you remember having an ice cream man when you were a child? So when I think about our ice cream truck, it always seems so mystical, so magical, because he always showed up at random times, and it was always at like the hottest point of the day, and you wanted ice cream, and it just was always there. But the man in the ice cream truck never really seemed like an adult. He's a man who literally has ice cream, like he drives ice cream around for a living. It just seems so mystical and magical. As a child, that perception just seems so mystical and magical. And granted, I know now, like, the cynic in me is like, oh my God, a grown person, like, selling things to children. It's kind of creepy. But when we're kids, that's not our perception. And the point here is not about what it seems like as an adult. It's not about the ways in which the world has changed it. It's about the purity of holding on to what the world did not have the capability of changing within you. You've held on to this energy of youthfulness and innocence and naivety, but not naivety in a way where you're risking yourself in dangerous situations because you need to. You have this incredible old soul, authentic, ancient vibe to you, while simultaneously you're like the 4-year-old who just sees magic everywhere. And that's what makes you so unique. And that's what makes you really capable of flowing with nature, but flowing along your journey in life, knowing that the pathway of any soul, and especially the pathway of healing, it's not a circle, it's not a spiral half the time. It meanders. You go here and you go here and you go here. You guys may be human design charts. Your human design chart, you may have an open and undefined G center or self center. That's the middle center. You may be a human design projector or reflector. But in particular, you may have an open and undefined self-center. And the reason why I say that is because when you have an open and undefined self-center, you don't actually, per human design chart standards, you don't actually have a purpose in this life. Like, you don't have a direction. And that was something in my own chart when I realized that it was so hard for me to grasp, because I'm like, wait, I'm directionless and purposeless. What the hell? But it's not that. What it is it leaves you open to being able to experience so many different things, because you don't have one set focus. You don't have one set area that you're singularly focused on. And because you don't have that one area of singular focus, you can do so much. It makes you the proverbial jack in the box. You are not jack in the box, but jack of all trades. Forgive me. Not Jack in the Box. I'm literally seeing the episode or the part of the movie Elf where he is like, do, 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 and then it pops out and scares him every single time with the Jack in the Box. But you're the proverbial jack of all trades. You can do so many things and you have so many interests, and it can be so disconcerting when you're on that path and you don't realize that part of yourself, because you feel like, well, I should be doing this one thing all the time. But every time you get pulled into something else that you have such a strong passion for, there is a level of guilt that can be there. And that's why this Dalmatian Jasper is so great, because it really does help bring that playful nature into letting yourself meander through life. I'm someone where it took me a really long time, and I am still actively working every single day to accept the fact that everything about human design resonates so deeply with me, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why? Because there are parts of my chart I would love to change. And I know that we create our reality, and I'm going to have, I already know I'm going to have people who are going to try and comment and be like, well, you don't have to accept it as your reality. I get that, but I found so much deep healing through this thing, this human design and gene keys. I found so much healing and growth on my journey that I cannot negate the system. I may not agree with certain aspects, but I can't negate it. And that's the thing. When you realize that certain systems are not all bad. We're not here to like break everything down and just like throw it all to the wayside. We're here to adapt to what helps us heal and live our fullest life. I'm getting on a tangent. My point here is that regardless of how much I don't like human design, when I realized and have worked through allowing myself to meander in life, it's become so much more fun, because now it's like, well, nothing is limited. It opens up the ability to be able to understand other people's direction without having to embody their direction for yourself. That you may not have that in your chart, but that energy is really strong here. And it's actually a huge relief for me, because usually when I'm interacting with energies where that center is filled, that pull is so strong that it really does take me time to disconnect. So how this reading works is this side over here is messages from your maternal bloodline. This is messages from your paternal bloodline. And this right here are messages about you and how you are seen by both your ancestor bloodlines. And that includes what we just talked about. So let's see what else they have to say. Yes, we have the Ace of Cups. Exactly. This is who you are. You embody all these new beginning energies. It's an emotional intuition where you're like, okay, it's time for me to embrace this journey. It's time for me to do this. I'm going to experience this. And every single time you're starting something new with brand new love and a new awareness of love. And the reason why it can be so hard is because when you don't realize that you're meant to meander through life, you're meant to allow yourself to meander in these ways, to flow with what comes in and what your heart calls you to. Instead of saying, this is my direction, it's like white noise. White noise is nothing more or less than the gamut of noise, just kind of static together, but it leaves it open to so many things that could potentially possibly happen through just listening to it. You could hear spirit through listening to white noise. You can also meditate and close out the outside world and find yourself at a place of peace internally. You could actually find places internally by listening to white noise that are out of sync with your external world and vice versa. And it's even the white noise, it feels so much like a meandering pathway. It's one where you don't have to determine a specific direction. You have to embrace, or you're being asked to embrace, having no direction, but having a purpose that is nothing more or less than always having a full cup, always being emotionally fulfilled. Even if you don't have 10 of cups, you'll always have this one singular cup. You are this one singular cup. So you are always fulfilled emotionally all the time within yourself when you accept this. And then you let yourself flow with whatever makes you happy at any given point in time. And you live to be your truest self. And it is really quite beautiful. So how this works as far as the cards go is each one of these cards are what you have inherited from your maternal and paternal bloodlines. And these are what you are healing from those lines. So we're going to take a look at your inheritances first. So what you have inherited, whoa! You've literally inherited the world from your maternal line. No, it's free and clear karma. And that may not have felt like it. For some of you, you really have felt like, what is everybody talking about with this karma stuff? Because for some of you in this pile, you just genuinely have such an innocence that you've flowed through life without really experiencing the depths of hardship. That's for a select few, but it doesn't mean that you're any less spiritual than the rest of us. It does, like, when I talk about my traumas, it's not meant to be something that's like, oh, if you haven't experienced trauma, then you're not as spiritual as I am. Hell no. Absolutely not. Like, there is no one perfect way to be spiritual or to come into spirituality and the spiritual lifestyle. Everybody comes to it in their own way. So if you haven't experienced a lot of trauma, that's beautiful because you have a very unique take on the world that many people don't have. And that take is so needed because it's a very innocent and beautiful way of seeing things because you haven't had to endure a challenge to that. So that's for some of you. For others of you, you have inherited a completion of karmic cycles. That makes you a cycle breaker and a pattern breaker. But because we have this meandering pathway with the Ace of Cups and the Dalmatian Jasper along with the white noise, all of this is saying that the ways in which you have actually closed down cycles is not in enduring the trauma and then healing from the trauma. It's in embracing yourself. Every single time you embrace yourself and you love yourself more fully and you love your path and your purpose and your direction more fully, every single time you do these things, you close out cycles and you complete those patterns by moving out of them. And in that way, you have literally inherited this beautiful energy of understanding the world and not feeling as though this world is so encumbersome. And pile 4, if you resonate with not feeling like this world is so encumbersome, as someone who struggles, can you please share your stories? Share your wisdom, share your insight. Some of you may want to be children's authors. It is my belief that children's authors and young adult authors who keep the paranormal and supernatural alive for all of us as adults and as children, that you carry a sanctity within your soul. And that when you do that here in the world, you literally rescue so many people. Like, I've been rescued by young adult novels so many times I can't count. So if you are someone who resonates with that, please don't hesitate to share your gift. please, because the world does need to hear your stories, no matter how they come out. Please. Okay, so let's see what you inherited from your father's line. Oh, the Page of Wands. First of all, a natural talent with music. A natural music talent. But and also a natural gift with animals, especially. But what you have inherited is this youthful inspiration. There's so much here with your inner child that is so active and so alive and just tangible within your energy. This is the first time I've ever interacted with energy quite like this. It may be that this is a new phase for you, a new chapter for you. For some of you, that is the case with this World card being here. But for others of you, you must be new, which, hi guys, welcome, because that's really a beautiful energy. The Page of Wands, this inheritance is literally wonder and awe and youthful inspiration. It's the inspiration that brought J.K. Rowling to writing Harry Potter, the inspiration that brought C.S. Lewis to writing the Chronicles of Narnia series, or, you know, Rick Riordan and writing all of what Rick Riordan has written. You know, it's that inspirational spark that flows through that creates these stories that are just so wondrous and awesome, like PC Cast and Kristen Cast with the Marked series, or the, you know, follow-up to the Marked series, the House of Night series 1 and 2, and, you know, all the other ones that they do, because they do so many different books, and there's just beautiful, beautiful artistry in word form. But that's what I mean. That is what you've inherited from your paternal line. You've inherited that spark. And because with your mother's line, you've inherited the World card, you can actually take things completely from start to finish. You have it flowing through the very veins of your body. Like the very blood that flows through your veins is literally what gives you the spark of creative inspiration to simply create. And you can create worlds. You can create worlds. That is something that is truly, truly a blessing. And maybe some of you aren't writers and you are illustrators, or like you make comics like manga, or you know, anime of some sort. Maybe you want to be an illustrator or a cartoonist or something of that nature, or alternately you could just want to be a singer. And even that, there's something so pure in your energy, just insanely pure in your energy. It's ethereal. I would say you guys are Lyrans. If I were to guess a star seed for you guys that is the most dominant, I'd say Lyrans and then Mintakans. But definitely, because those are coming through so strongly, I would say definitely go and check out Colleen's reading with your star ancestors, because it feels very much tied to you. But it feels like you guys are literally walking stardust. Like you could resonate with the Fae or the Seelie and the Unseelie, with, you know, fairies and brownies and sprites and nymphs and naiads and dryads, and just the whole gamut of mystical creatures, unicorns, dragons, just the whole gamut of them, because your inner child is so alive in your energy. So let's see what you guys are healing. We have the 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment. Like you're literally healing wish fulfillment. You're on your maternal line, you're healing this awareness of actual wishes coming true. And I am sorry if you guys can hear like the revving of an engine in the background. There was somebody, like one of my neighbors, like really working on a car or something in the back alley, or struggling with their vehicle. I'm not really sure, but I can hear it. It's like a deep rumble. But with this Nine of Cups, what you're healing with the Nine of Cups is it's like the mindset that holds you back from believing that wishes can come true. You know, I'm being brought to Aladdin and the genie and the three wishes and how you rub the lamp and how outrageous that sounds in this day and age. Like even to a child, it would actually sound kind of outrageous. Like a lamp, there's no such thing. Like this can't exist. But there's something within you that knows that something like that is that's just, it's possible for you. It's like you could pick up a stone and you could like go like this and like touch the energy of the crystal itself, touch the personality of the crystal itself, know what its story is, know what it's here to do, what it's here to teach, know what it's trying to say. And because of that, you would be able to essentially make wishes come true. It's like you're the wish bringer. And I mean that in the best way possible, because I'm actually seeing like the cover for the DVD of Wishmaster, which is a Freddy Krueger movie, which FYI, Freddy Krueger movies are my favorite. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Hands down my favorite. I am a huge horror film buff. So, and that doesn't mean that I know everything about horror films. I just really like watching them. I always have, ever since I was a kid. Anyway, I don't know why that needed to be mentioned. But with this Nine of Cups, there is like a giddy energy around you. It's like you guys have like, you have a Disney-esque quality to you where you could be in Disney movies. Just naturally could be that. Like you just embody that energy. You're like all of the Disney princesses. I'm literally seeing Snow White and Ariel like singing with the animals and the fish and everything. Oh my goodness. Let's see what you're healing from the father's side. Seriously, the chariot is what you're healing from the father's side. Well, you're healing balancing of all aspects of the self, but you're healing Cancerian energy. So you're healing that understanding of not having to be too hard, not having to worry, to fear, knowing that you're safe because home is where the heart is and your heart is with you. And wherever you go, it's that Ace of Cups energy. That's what you're healing in your father's line. You're healing being victorious in this energy. It's like you're breaking all the boundaries, breaking all the expectations into something completely different. But every word that I want to use has such a negative connotation in modern phrasing, but it's like you take those words that we would normally have negative connotations about and you transform it into something successful and beautiful and brilliant and brave and true and kind. And you do this with such patience and gentleness and flow and ease. Okay, this is the second time I've gotten this energy. Have any of you guys here had a near-death experience? Because some of you feel spirit kissed. You feel like you've been kissed by the spiritual realm, as though you have been in it and come back. And that could have been at any point in your life. You'll know if it resonates or not. Alternately, some of you here are vanished twins who have absorbed your twin just like I have. And that I have to say, when I feel that, I have to say that because you do walk a life in which you are permanently connected to the spiritual realm. There is no disconnecting from the spiritual realm. Even in times where it seems dark and quiet and silent, you're still permanently connected to that because you literally walk with a spirit. You know, it's not a negative thing. It's actually very, very beautiful. There's a lot of love that comes with being a vanished twin. It's just getting to that awareness. So let's see what your maternal line says. We have happiness. And again, with the dolphins and that Mintakan starseed energy, but just youthfulness and joyfulness and that dolphin energy, you know, they flow in pods. And with that, I get that energy again of you being so intricately connected to the spiritual realm. But because this one's smaller, I also get that you are the mother and the child energy once more. And then oh my gosh, Literally, we've got 14 with family tree, expansion, and legacy. So if you are a parent or wanting to be a parent, this is letting you know that absolutely you will be expanding that family tree with your own children, and an acknowledgement of that. But there is something here about when you realize that you are the wish that has fulfilled so many things within your family line. You're the wish. You are the expansion. You are the legacy. It's like you are all these things. You are your family's happiness. You are. They just want to emphasize so much what you are to them. We've got Hermit, retreat and recharge. And see, I picked this energy up when I said that you may be, oh, I love how this looks like this is like underneath the roots. So it's almost like you recharge by really getting yourself grounded and tapping into it's like tapping into your family root. Like the balance is in your foundation. The balance is in your roots. And you rebalance yourself when you do that. But this Hermit energy is very, very prominent with human design projectors and reflectors, because human design projectors and reflectors require a lot of retreat and recharge time. And if we don't have that, we go into what's called projector and reflector burnout. And when you go into a burnout, it's literally like your entire physical body falls apart. Now, this is something that I haven't shared on my channel yet, but I pushed myself so hard as a projector when I shouldn't have, when I needed to take time away and rest. I pushed myself too hard to be connected to energies and people that weren't right for me, that I knew that my trigger warning on these things was my physical body would fall apart. That wasn't a trigger warning for you guys. That was me saying my own personal trigger warning is recognizing when I start getting sick. I start stressing out, I gain weight, and my PCOS gets really bad. And I didn't recognize how bad it was getting until it was too late. And as it is now, and now I'm going to say trigger warning, just in case anybody gets triggered by this. I did not give myself the adequate amount of time that I needed to retreat and recharge in the past. And it has led me to a very long journey that I actually will be completing this spring, where I have to have a major abdominal surgery and have an ovarian removal because it has gotten so bad. So if you feel this energy, or you receive a lot of messages that are telling you to ground yourself and to take time for yourself, please listen to that, because the more that you rest and you allow your energy to recharge, especially if you are a human design projector or a reflector, the more you will allow yourself the time and energy to be in your own energy and to just release everything from everyone else, because you fall into these really horrible negative patterns otherwise. It actually fueled my addiction when I kept pushing myself when I shouldn't have. And the projector and reflector burnout is really, really bad. So that's a really, like, that, it's such a huge message here. It's such a huge message. And with that, there's also a message with the World card and the Nine of Cups card saying that all your dreams come true when you release this feeling that you have to go all the time. When you let yourself flow, flow with the moon cycles, especially if you're a reflector, because going through an entire lunar cycle, an entire lunar month is so important, and recognizing how it triggers you and how your emotions work when you flow with the moon is so important too. But even just a projector knowing energetically where the moon is and how that is flowing, it's really important, because it flows and ebbs with your energy and your emotional body. But when you do that, you'll see that you will understand how to monopolize your actual energy without burning yourself out. And it just feels so important, because once you do that and really step into a different way of working with your energy, you actually help close a cycle here with the Hermit and the World card, where you're closing down this cycle of the hustle culture that this world has been in for so long. It's like you need to scrap that because your happiness lies somewhere else, and it's outside of hustle culture. Hustle culture for you is actually quite toxic and deceptive. So let's see what your father's line has to say. We have potential. Yeah, okay. We literally have night and day here. So what I got from this is your greatest potential, like your creative potential, comes alive when you allow yourself to sit under the night sky. So you guys may benefit greatly from stargazing or star bathing, like laying out in the stars, and like, granted, do it when it's nice enough out to do so, but it's like sunbathing, but star bathing. Okay, and we've got 37, creation, soul expression, something new. And see here, like you can see the little sparkles. This is literally the energy of the mother that I was getting from this side. But it's like your soul is ready to show the world how to do things in a new way, how to be expressed in a new way. And you're literally like creating those seeds. And with the daisies here, it's all about joy and happiness. It literally, like, you're on a journey right now where it's play and rest, play and rest, play and rest, whatever play means to you. For me, this is my play. I know it's my work, but I love doing this so much that this is also my play. So, and then oh, son, enjoy success and happiness. You guys have the most absolute loving, nurturing family. Like, your ancestors are just incredible. They really are. You guys are doing so much for them, but you're literally healing some big things. Like, when you bring hope and wishes and victory and dreams come true and balance and harmony back into your family line, you really do change the game. So it says your emotions are 100% valid, yet they are not meant to control you. This belongs over here 100%, especially with this 9 of Cups, because it's recognizing that your emotions matter, but they do not dictate who you are, what you are here to do, what you can and cannot create. They don't dictate any of that. And then we have solfeggio frequency 396 hertz with the root chakra, healing through joyful forgiveness. Seriously, you guys are in this state of joy, of happiness, and joyful forgiveness. This tells me that there's something that you guys have forgiven. Like, okay, so when I learned that I was a human design projector, I got so mad. I rejected it right away. And I had to learn how to forgive my own soul for choosing certain things in my path. But when you come into that state of joyful forgiveness, you really do heal that root. You heal that root deeply. And that's what I was getting, is that the balance is in your roots. Allowing yourself to retreat and recharge, forgiving yourself for having gotten caught up in the hustle and the bustle of the world, and realizing that you're not meant for that kind of life. So it's okay for you to be alone. It's okay for you to be at home by yourself. It's okay for you to do these things because you're meant to do them. Yeah. Freedom is a gift you give to yourself right here. It is okay to not be okay. It shows how you honor yourself in every moment right here. See, you're closing out some really important emotional cycles on your maternal line. And it says the greatest power you'll hold in your life is love. Look at this. And look, the Ace of Cups is literally the card of love. That's literally how they feel about you, is that you are the greatest power that you hold in your life. The absolute ultimate potential of you is literally love, and you are love. That's what they're saying. They want you to realize that you already are the greatest potential, because you are that potential, is that power is love. And look, inner duality is a truly beautiful quality of self. Embrace yourself in all that you contain, but realize that it's okay for you to actually take that time to yourself. It doesn't mean that you're shutting yourself off from the world. It doesn't mean that you don't feel like you belong in the world. It means that you're honoring yourself 100%. So it is okay to not be okay. When you say that, when you understand that, then you honor yourself and you take yourself and you say, I'm going to treat myself with love and kindness. I'm going to embrace these things. Then you move forward in the ways in which you're meant to. You move forward through freedom, through healing. When that root chakra is fully healed, you embrace this meandering pathway without any hesitation. Pile 4, this has been absolutely incredible and amazing. And I want to say thank you so freaking much for being here. And, thank you for like being open for me to just accidentally kind of tell you guys what's going on in my personal life. I haven't been telling a lot of people. So, all right, Pile 4. Thank you again. I want to say thank you to your guides, my guides, spirit, and your ancestors for coming through so strongly and with such love and true, just dedicated love and joy and messages. Thank you so much. Thank you. If this resonated, a really great way of an equal exchange of energy is to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and comment down in the comment section below how this resonated. I would love to get your guys' feedback because this has been the best reading. This pile has been the best reading I've ever done on my channel. Honestly, it has. It's just incredible. I am in awe of this energy. So I am truly honored, and I would love to interact with you guys because you guys are rock stars. So yeah, Pile 4. And please make sure you guys check out Colleen with Spiritualistic and her part of this collaboration over on her channel. The link is in the description box as well as the comment section below on the pinned comment. So make sure you guys go and check her out, show her a lot of love, subscribe to her channel and support her on her journey because she is absolutely incredible. And seriously, she is going to skyrocket to the stars, and I know it. So thank you again for being here. And if you guys want to check out my links in the description box, they're all in there, donations and booking a personal reading and whatnot. But make sure you guys check out Colleen's channel first. So, all right, you guys, I love you all. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. First.